absolutely necessary and it's difficult. However, I wonder if that's also indicative of, have we really innovated solutions and provided them with fresh solutions to their fresh problems? Are we meeting them where they are, or are we taking them backwards to what makes us feel comfortable and what we think would work based on old data and old solutions? I don't know. I think for me, as an organization, we are very much committed to not leaving any mind behind. And that comes with a certain level of compassion. It comes with a level of empathy, because there are people that genuinely cannot empathize with the youth. They think that, they're lazy, and the reason that they can't afford houses is because of their Netflix and the coffees. But I think that that's further from the truth. They're just a generation that understands purpose. They want to do meaningful work. They don't see the value in sitting in an office for one office for 30 years. They want to do things that are impactful. So I think we need to meet them there. And I only see good things coming from us meeting them there. If we meet each other in 2025 with fresh solutions, fresh, innovative ideas, with these fresh minds, I think that the world really could look different. But that's going to require a lot of ego work from people, because you have people that will think they know best because they've been here longer. And I mean, I don't want to get too much into discussing those people, because in my mind, I'm like, then give us the solution since you've been here longer. Yet, I would rather admit that this is as much as I know, but there's still so much that I don't know. This is what's happened. This is what you could do with this. I think that real-time lived experience storytelling, that's where the power lies, because in us being able to hand over any sort of baton to the youth to say, this is what I did, this is where I got stuck here, and when I got stuck here, I did that. I think that's more of a helpful conversation, as opposed to pretending that we know everything and we have all the solutions. I think it's about coming to the table together and innovating something that hasn't necessarily been done, because not all paths are found. Some paths are built. And I think with this current youth, it's up to all of us to work together to build, or help them build, that path. But we cannot afford to rely on all solutions to new problems, because we will just end up being stuck, and that's not good for anybody's mental health. And I mean, I know that some of the older generation, probably, maybe some of them won't necessarily care, because they they have they have more quality of mental health, but I mean, they lived in a different time. And I don't know, in my mind, with everything that I'm doing, I'm always of the view that you work with who wants to see the changes that you want to see. We don't judge anybody for how they perceive the world, because at the end of the day, we're all projecting, and we all understand things based on how we experience the world and how we understand ourselves. But I think that as long as we are all aligned in terms of like-minded people, and people that do want to advance the world and do want people to empower people and want people to reach their highest potential, those are the people then that should come together and work together to try and help develop solutions, meaningful and sustainable solutions. Because, as I say, putting a plaster on something that needs probably more like a big band-aid, it's not going to work. But even in us putting on that plaster and band-aid, we still need to ask harder questions about what are the systemic and structural barriers and obstacles that the youth are currently experiencing, which ones will continue to exist, and perhaps the question being, what do we need to dismantle to perhaps start again? Because if a lot of what is being experienced globally, that does speak to a bigger structural issue. If the issues that were being experienced and the studies were revealing that it was one particular set of youth, in one particular area, then we could conclude that perhaps there's a problem in that particular place. But this is the global pain that the youth is experiencing: a lack of opportunity, economic uncertainty, climate insecurity. These are all things that youth are experiencing across the board. So I wonder, and I mean, I will leave you to mull over what that common thread may be.